Hello there and welcome to the show, the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. My name is Solomon Fowowe. It's great to have you join us on the show today. Today we're going to be talking Victor Osimhen, who completed a move to Napoli a couple of days ago, and it's a huge deal. A big deal here in Nigeria and in Africa. And also I'm sure they're going to be excited to have him join the Napoli side over there in the Naples. It's great to have you join us. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you should absolutely subscribe already, because Guardian Nigeria has awesome content for you, and you can also make sure to click the notification button just over there so that fresh content gets delivered directly into your inbox. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking Victor Osimhen and what that move really means for guys at Napoli, and it means for we guys here at Nigeria, and what it means for Victor Osimhen himself. I'm talking today with a top journalist from Nigeria. His name is Solace Chukwu, who is a football writer with Goal Africa. It's great to have you on the show today, Solace.
Thank you very much for having me, Solomon. I'm glad to be here.
So Victor Osimhen made that move to Napoli for an initial 50 million euros, and it could grow to as much as 80 million euros, which would be an African record, when it comes to transfers. And I just want you to run us through it. What exactly will Napoli be getting, for a striker that they are paying that sort of amount for? That's Victor Osimhen. What exactly is Napoli getting from this particular deal?
I think it's important to note that in getting Osimhen, they are getting a striker who is by no means the finished article. Victor Osimhen is at this point only 21. He still has a number of years of development ahead of him before he can get to the point where one can consider his peak. So Napoli are getting a player who, in many respects, is still unrefined, but at the same time, you look at his output over the last couple of seasons and it whets the appetite. I mean, if he's as good as he's been without being fully developed, just imagine what he can do when he gets a couple more seasons and a lot more experience under his belt. So Napoli are getting a striker that's really fast, really aggressive in terms of taking shots and creating shooting opportunities, but also someone who is very selfless. So he's saw toward the end of his time at Lille, he became a lot more geared toward the collective. His link-up play and his hold-up was improving rapidly, and also the timing of his runs. So he's very much a work in progress, but at the same time, he's someone who is not selfish, who has a strong team ethic, who will press, who will run the hard yards, and who is a very good finisher when presented with a reasonable volume of chances.
Quite interesting, your thoughts there. But my next question now would be, what exactly do you think about that move? Victor Osimhen, trading places from Lille to Napoli. Do you think it really helps his career as a Nigerian striker, or what exactly do you think about that move?
Well, on the surface of it, Lille to Napoli is very much an upward move. So you could say, considering the profile of clubs involved here, he's definitely going forward in terms of his career trajectory. As far as Napoli itself as a destination is concerned, I think there are a number of variables that make it difficult to determine exactly the wisdom of this move or otherwise. For one thing, he's coming into a Napoli team that is in a state of flux at the moment. They've hired in Gennaro Gattuso, a manager over whom there are a number of question marks. He's also coming into a squad that is going to go through a bit of churn. Some of the more experienced players like Jose Callejon and Alan are very likely leaving, and there are also bids for Kalidou Koulibaly from England, who has been a long-term stalwart for them in defense. The club's record goal scorer, Dries Mertens, is also kind of in the twilight of his career. So really, when you look at Napoli, there's a lot of uncertainty. No one really knows what shape the club will take in the coming years. So stepping into that for Osimhen is going to be difficult, and it's going to be daunting. So I don't know if that's something you want to a 21-year-old should be adding on. I mean, there's already so much that can go wrong with a young player's career. When you add into that volatility at club level, it can be problematic for his long-term development. So, like I said, there are a lot of factors to consider. It's difficult at this time to say unequivocally whether this move is the right one or it is not.
Interesting thoughts there. And you mentioned General Gattuso, and it brings me to my next question. What sort of impact do you think, Gattuso as the coach of Napoli would have on, the career of, Victor Osimhen as a striker? Do you think is one that will propel him forward? Do you think is one that will make him stagnate? Or do you think that it's one that will make them get to greater places, both the manager and the player himself?
I think in the long run, the biggest impact that Gattuso will have on Osimhen is less in terms of improving his technique and overall play, and more to do with the mental side of the game. I think one of the things we've seen since Gattuso came on board at Napoli is Napoli have always had a very, at least since the days of Sarri, they've had a very defined set of style of play. They use circuits to build up from the back, and they play through the thirds, and they seek to enter, the penalty area through the wide area. So that has really been their trademark. But what Gattuso has done in the brief time in charge is to make them a little harder. There's long been that sense that for all their pretty football, Napoli lack the real ruthlessness or the ability to hunker down and see out the result. And those are the qualities that he's introduced into Napoli's play. They're a lot more difficult to beat, and they're a lot tougher to play against. So I think Osimhen, getting in there will benefit from that, in the sense that his mentality and his mental attributes, his focus, his concentration will very likely improve at Napoli. In terms of his actual play, like I said, that's one of the question marks hanging over Gattuso. What exactly is his unique imprint on the team? No one really knows. There's no defining trademark of what Gattuso's philosophy on football is. So no one knows exactly what he could do, really, if given a player like Osimhen. I think we might see, regrettably, that a move to Napoli at this time will be mostly about getting the team to play to Osimhen's strengths. While he was at Lille, there was an element of that, but also you could see him learning stuff and trying new things and adding elements into his game. I think we might be in for a situation where all of that stops, and it will be more about getting Osimhen to do the things he already does well at a higher volume than it will be rounding out his overall game at the end of the day.
Well, interesting thoughts there. Thank you so much for talking to us, Solace, on the Nutmeg.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Interesting thoughts there by Solace Chukwu, Goal Africa's football writer. There you have it, the lowdown on Victor Osimhen. He's made that move, and we here in Nigeria and a whole lot of folks in Africa would be really interested in that lad doing very well at Naples. It's great to have you on the show today, you all who have watched so far, and thank you so much for sticking with us. That's on the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. If you're not subscribed to this channel, once again, you should absolutely subscribe, because there's awesome content like the Nutmeg and a couple of other great content that Guardian Nigeria has to offer you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Solomon Fowowe, and this has been the Nutmeg.